A very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everywhere you are tuned into the hotspot. It is the time where we get to go live discussing the hottest conversations concerning Manchester United and everything around it. Now, big news coming through, big updates coming through. Of course, not the major one we are all waiting for. It's not happening yet. Even if the Sheikh Jassim bid is certainly in the lead, it is of course not yet announced by the Glazers, who are the official people expected to make the official announcement. But already what we know, that Manchester United is about to be taken over by that man Sheikh Jassim, has caused a dilemma when it comes to transfers and everything to do with Manchester United. My name is Webb. Welcome to the hotspot, and we are here to discuss that. So let's get proper into whatever concerns Manchester United. There is a lot that is going on with the club, a lot of speculations, a lot of talk about the ownership. We are going to be discussing that at depth. I do want you this time, guys, to be so active around as we get proper into this conversation, discussing the dilemma that has befallen Manchester United ahead of the imminent takeover from that man in the center, that is Sheikh Jassim. Well, let's just give you a proper update now. What we know is that very soon, again, like we said, before the end of this week, we'll be getting an official communication from the club about who the owners are, but it is clear that Qatar has been accepted. Earlier on today in the morning, it was revealed by a newspaper called Al Watan, that is a newspaper owned by Sheikh Jassim's father. We're back home in Qatar. There are three newspapers in Qatar, three major newspapers. It is one of the biggest three, and it is owned, half owned by the Sheikh himself, the father, HBJ, the man who bought London, the father of Sheikh Jassim. So the newspaper Al Watan did come out and report that very soon they did congratulate their son, that's Sheikh Jassim, upon his bid going through to acquire Manchester United. There was also a top dignitary in Qatar who went quickly and congratulated them upon successfully winning that bid. So for me, it's a case of trying to be formal, but it has leaked. Of course, they should be frustrated. The Qatarians are only trying to manage the damage, but I think the truth is, what leaked today is a question of when, not if. So the issue of ownership, I think, should not be one we worry about. It's a matter of time. It is a matter of time. But on the eve of the transfers, I do believe it's only right for us to come here and concentrate on the transfers. Now, with the imminent confirmation of Sheikh Jassim as the owner of Manchester United, news has broken. Remember, everything surrounding this moment has been pointing to one thing, that Sheikh Jassim is taking over United. Considering the rumors we had before linking Kylian Mbappe to Man United should Sheikh Jassim take over, now clearly Mbappe comes out and drops a bombshell, sends a message to Paris Saint-Germain telling them he is not going to be extending his contract or triggering his 1 year clause in his contract at the club. Well, obviously, that's a sign that probably the rumors we've been talking about here, the rumors we've heard, probably hold water. But it is again a question of waiting and for us to see what exactly is going to happen with the situation. But I'm going to come to be talking about a couple of things concerning Kylian Mbappe and how I think he's going to. Is he the right option for Manchester United to sign? Because right now the speculation is going on, and of course we know that Sheikh Jassim will be announced sooner rather than later. The speculations have started, reigniting speculations that have been going on concerning Mbappe, and it has been stated, the latest coming through is that Kylian Mbappe has stated that he would be interested in joining Manchester United. Do remember that Mbappe is in a tricky situation. Remember about the contract details. He came out and made it clear to Paris Saint-Germain that he does want to leave after his contract expires. That will be at the end of next summer, meaning he has got 1 year remaining on his contract. He's not going to trigger the option of a year's extension in his contract. Now, this was a sign probably that clubs out there that want me, you can come and bring in your bids if you can afford me. He is the hottest player right now. Now, PSG has got a decision to make. Do they cash in on him right now to whoever will come and table money? Certainly, a big club is going to come, and we're going to be talking about the options because Man United is now a front runner in terms of signing Mbappe. Of course, our stake went up since morning on the stock on the New York stock. So you think it's certainly a sign that United is being is on the market, is out there. It's something is about to happen. That's a sign. But let's not get through get into the details of stocks and all. They are boring and complicated. But the reality is Sheikh Jassim will be confirmed soon. That for us, I think, should have no pressure about that. For your mental health, sit back, relax, and wait for the time. But the implication of Sheikh Jassim taking over Manchester United is that United now might have a chance to sign the best options, the top players they were pointing at the start. It gives them an opportunity to think about Harry Kane, to think about that man, Kylian Mbappe, and already now there is talk and speculation concerning who should be the priority should Sheikh Jassim come in, because now that's the confusion, that's the dilemma that the club is finding itself into, that with the imminent arrival of the man who has got the bucks, the man who has the money, the man who has got the money bags, now which of the top options, because now this gives United the confidence to aim for the best players in the world. And certainly United has been eyeing a world-class striker. Now there are two world-class strikers probably clearly on the market, including Kylian Mbappe and Harry Kane, and they were both I think at least Mbappe, rather Harry Kane was a top target for Man United from the start of the window. So you're thinking right now what's going through the mind of Eric Ten Hag, because we can have the money, the funds, can afford the funds to sign both, one of the two players, because certainly they are going to be so expensive. Before, the lack of clarity is what was impeding us from making a move. But with the situation now, almost certain we are getting the bucks to fund. Remember, Sheikh Jassim's bid made it clear that Manchester United would be able to spend, that he would be investing in recruitment of new players. So if the bid is about to be pronounced, now it means, and Kylian Mbappe is on the market. He has said he has put in a transfer request. PSG has just got to make a decision whether to invite bids for him, but the player says, I'm available, I'm not extending my contract, so you either cash in on me or I stay for my final year. He's saying he's willing to stay for his final year but leave for free. Now PSG has got two options. Their fingers are tied. I think they're trapped between a rock and a hard place. Certainly for PSG, it's never about the money. It's not the money they want. But if the player doesn't want to extend his contract, the only thing they've got to do to make some money out of him maybe later is to tie him down to a new contract. But if he's already saying he won't even extend by 1 year, meaning he wants out, so you either cash in on him right now, or you risk losing him for free. Would PSG want to risk losing the best player in the world for free? I don't think so. So for Manchester United, I think this is a sign, and he has said, it has been clear. I was listening to a journalist from France, speaking about how Kylian Mbappe would, think of the option of joining, a club in England, because telling you about Mbappe, he was wanted by Real Madrid, and there is a video that linked showing that leaked on social media, showing a young man asking the president of Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, about whether he would sign Kylian Mbappe. That was about 2 seasons ago, and Perez answered and said yes, but not now. But now meaning then, those 2 years ago when that happened. So this video leaked, and you see all this, I think is intended. It's no coincidence that Mbappe comes in and puts in a transfer request and such a video leaks around the same time. So I think these players have agents, and football is a business. You do anything to trigger the best deal for yourself. Kylian Mbappe might be trying to get PSG right now to increase his terms. He's one of the highest paid footballers in the world, but he's probably trying to trigger PSG to come and call him on the table and renegotiate new terms and give him more money. But the other theory is that he's so frustrated with the failing project of PSG. He feels after winning the World Cup and the level he's at, he has got to be winning bigger titles, including the Champions League and the Club World Cup and what have you. So the feeling is that Kylian Mbappe will certainly, want out, I think. And PSG, the smart thing for PSG to do would be to cash in on him right now when he's still hot. And I do believe that's going to happen. And that then would be a blessing in disguise for the clubs that are interested in him, including Real Madrid and Manchester United. He had promised Perez, after the video leaked, he came out to try and, explain, but he had promised Florentino Perez before signing the current contract he has. That's, a season ago, before signing the current contract he has, he promised the Real Madrid president that he would one time come and play for Real Madrid, but not that season, not that summer. So that's the confidence that in that video, sadly I can't play it because I don't have the rights to play it. It's not my video. But in that video, Perez seemed to have the confidence that they had a gentleman's agreement with Kylian Mbappe, and all the things are coming out now. So Madrid sort of leads in the race for Mbappe, just as you think they lead in the race for Kane. The truth is, without Karim Benzema, they certainly do want to sign a top goal scorer. Now, the issue why Manchester United could have an advantage in Mbappe is because when Kylian Mbappe refused to, he could have joined Real Madrid in the last summer. But the reason he did not join them was because he feels Mbappe loves to play coming in from the wings, from the flank, the same way Vinicius Jr. Flies in for Real Madrid. Now, that's how Mbappe loves to play his football. Now, he felt that, and Real Madrid appreciates, he's their boy. They do love Vinicius Jr. So Kylian Mbappe playing at Real Madrid with the same team with Vinicius Jr., Mbappe felt perhaps it would never work because they almost play in a similar way. They play they play best from the same positions. So wide, from coming out from wide, or either right or left as inverted or natural wingers. So Mbappe felt that would not be a good place for him, and this is so important for a player. You've got to go into a team. If you're a world-class player like that, the expectation is high. You want to go into a setup that will help you shine. You might go to a team and you're lost in the team. You're a top player and your career goes. You fail to perform. So that is why Manchester United has got a chance now. And the fact that we are going to be owned by people who have the money to spend again gives United a bigger chance. When it comes to Kylian Mbappe. Now the question is, if we get Sheikh Jassim and the money is there, who do we go for? Do we go for Kylian Mbappe or Harry Kane? I've given you the situation with Kylian Mbappe and why United will have a chance. And reports from France suggest that he would consider an offer to play in the Premier League, more so if a team in the top 4, top 5 comes calling. So United should be a front runner for that. Like I said, I think Manchester United signing Kylian Mbappe would solve more than half of the problems for United. It would make everything easy. Now, what would that mean? Now, that's where I want to go. What would that mean if Manchester United signed Kylian Mbappe? What would it mean? And I do want to show you some of the possible scenarios. And for Mbappe and Kane, what would be the possible scenarios? And I do want to pick your mind. So, if Manchester United signed Kylian Mbappe, my feeling is United wouldn't need to sign any other player in the forward positions. For me, I believe he would be, first of all, I think a bit cheaper because he would solve bigger problems. I don't think you want to sign any other striker. I think United will just have to cancel whatever they have been talking with Rasmus Højlund if they sign Kylian Mbappe, because with the player, so that is what I think the ideal front three for United would look. Maybe Mason Greenwood might not be there now, but he's a contracted player at Man United, and soon we are going to be hearing a decision on his future. So I'm assuming he's still there and available. Even if he were loaned out, maybe to try and work on his mental health next season, the ideal front three if United signed Kylian Mbappe for me would be Mbappe, Marcus Rashford, and Mason Greenwood. For me, that would be an unplayable front three. I think we would be beginning to build something almost close to what Liverpool had with Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Roberto Firmino. For me, I think these three, in a season, give them a season together, I think they would complement each other and think that would be a very, very deadly front three if United built that. For me, that would be the ideal. And how would they look? In the pitch, in a lineup with the other players around them. Of course, I am going to be getting that for you and trying to show you how I think they would look. But for me, I think that would be a cheaper option. And when I say cheaper, it sounds odd to say cheap when Mbappe is in the picture. But I mean, if you sign Mbappe, you don't have to sign another striker. And right now, considering the fact that he has got 1 year left on his contract, certainly that puts his price a little lower. Yeah? But also, it means Manchester United can actually afford to buy him. If United made the move now, I believe PSG would settle for anything, about 100 million. Now, 100 million for Kylian Mbappe would be a good bargain, wouldn't it? Right now, even if he's left with 1 year on his contract, getting him now, because you've got to get him when he's available. If you want him, you've got to get him early, because give it time. Real Madrid will take him, or another team will come. So I think if United get the Sheikh Jassim money, the smart thing to do right now would be to go to PSG and negotiate for as low as you can, because the player wants out. If you bring a reasonable you take a reasonable fee, or rather amount, I think they can give him to you. For me, that's what I think. So if we get Mbappe, I don't think we need to sign a striker. So Mbappe would solve our goal poaching problems. And him, Marcus Rashford is a good player. Mason Greenwood is good. But even when Greenwood is not there, even if you have Marcus Rashford and Kylian Mbappe flying from both flanks, I believe whoever person you put as the target man, or even if you shoot to shift Marcus Rashford, I think Ten Hag can choose to shift Marcus Rashford to be the target man, and then have Kylian Mbappe flying in from the flanks with Antony or Mason Greenwood or whoever. So for me, I think that would be a good option. That's one, a cheaper option. Subscribe, go into the comment section and give me your opinion, because I do want to pick it, as I do continue to give you updates concerning Manchester United. I'm telling you that the imminent announcement of Sheikh Jassim as the new owner of the club is causing a transfer dilemma to Man United, because now the money is going to be there and the pool is so huge. There are so many players we are contemplating, and we have become serious contenders to try and sign Kylian Mbappe, a world-class player, only 24 years of age. He's a World Cup winner, and he can be got on a cheap now, or you wait and get him for free. But I think waiting would be a huge risk. United has got to spend, and if they are to spend, they should be doing it now, because they can get him on a cheap, because he wants out and he is left with 1 year on his contract. So he's a cheap option. We can get him at the cheapest possible price a player of his caliber would be got. So for me, that's one. But if United, now again, like I told you, there seemed to have been a gentleman's agreement between Mbappe and Perez. Now, if Mbappe wants to be a gentleman and Real Madrid chooses that they do want to take, Kylian Mbappe, not Harry Kane, because I don't think they would sign both. If they chose to want to take Mbappe, and Mbappe agreed and said, maybe I can go and try to fit in with Vinicius Jr., or Madrid can even say they want to let go of Vinicius Jr. If that happened, then United would have to resort to Harry Kane. Now, if United signed Harry Kane, for me, I think the ball game would then look a bit different. That's my thinking. I think the ball game then would look a little different for Man United if we signed if we signed Harry Kane. I think that would mean that we would have Harry Kane play in the center of the forwards as the number 9, and then Mason Greenwood flying in from one end. That would be, I think, a good, pair partnership. And whoever then comes in from the other flank, I think, would not matter, even if it's Anthony Dos Santos or Jadon Sancho, whoever. I think the two would make us a little more competitive. Now, the other scenario would be, again, now going back a little to Kylian Mbappe. If we signed Kylian Mbappe, we would probably need to get a finisher. And now this would be a more expensive option. This would mean that we would have to spend a little more on the forwards. It means if we sign Mbappe and there is no Mason Greenwood, we need a finisher to be sandwiched by Mbappe and Marcus Rashford. And then that is when Højlund would come in, Rasmus Højlund would come in. I think this would again be another deadly front three for Man United if that happened. I think this is a front three that would comfortably compete with Manchester City or any team on the continent. That's what I think. But you can give me your opinion, guys, in the comment section, looking at United and how it would look in the future, or in next season, or in a few seasons, if we do, or when we do get the Jassim money to go on and complete the signings we've had in mind. But the latest coming through, as I do continue to give you updates, as I also talk about Man United and the future, and trying to understand the dilemma the club would be in, the transfer dilemma the club is facing. I do remind you that the deal, again, reports that are coming in, very, very credible reports, do suggest that it's before the end of this week that we will know who the Glazers have chosen to sell Manchester United to. And that will also come later on, either just shortly before, with news of whether Mason Greenwood will be staying as a Manchester United player, or they are letting him out. Again, I do also continue to talk about the probable lineup for Man United should we have a successful transfer window, a successful summer. That's Diogo Costa in goal, Kim Minje in the center as a center back. Then there's a still talk of Mason Mount. I think Ten Hag is so intent on signing Mason Mount, and of course a striker in Harry Kane leading there. If Mason Greenwood is allowed to play, I think he would come in and fall in, I think, with time as a starter if he's mentally okay and ready, and of course Marcus Rashford. But you don't think Greenwood will come in, even if he was allowed to come back and play. I think he would spend some time, he would take some time to get into the mental space to come out and compete comfortably. The other option for United is signing Mbappe, putting him wide because he doesn't play well as the target man, and then it means you would have to find a finisher, a good finisher. And I think in the options we have, the best finisher you have in terms of the players we are being linked to, I think is Rasmus Højlund. That is the man who plies his trade with Atalanta in Italy. So imagine having Højlund as the target man. You have Rashford flying in from one flank, Mason Mount playing behind the striker in that hole behind the target man, and then Kylian Mbappe flying in from the other flank. I think that would be the most deadly attacking force in the Premier League, and it can easily beat Manchester City, any form of Manchester City, hands down. I think for me that would be a perfect fit for United. Annalyn Aliguma saying hello Web. I think Mbappe can play on the right because of the fact that Rashford can't. If you have a front three of Mbappe, Rashford, and Højlund, yes, again, you see, for the beauty with such players is the mobility, and I think one thing I loved about the trio of Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Firmino was the flexibility of how they would play. You know, they keep changing. You know, such players are unplayable. They are mobile. They would keep changing, and for me, that is probably why I would enjoy. Whereas Højlund is a good player, he's a finisher. I think I would enjoy more having a trio of Mason Greenwood. I would enjoy having Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, and Kylian Mbappe because the three of them are more mobile. They can all comfortably play from all areas. I'm not sure how good, for example, Højlund would play if he's flying from one of the flanks. I don't think he would be so comfortable. I think he's a central axis footballer. He plays in the central line as a target man. So I think it would be limiting in terms of the mobility of the front three. And we've seen that the more mobile your front three are, the more unplayable they are. We saw the most deadly Manchester City. We saw it with Barcelona, with Neymar, Messi, and Suarez. We saw the same thing with Liverpool, with Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Firmino. So I think if we have Mason Greenwood in his right state of mind, we have Marcus Rashford and Kylian Mbappe, I think we can play that puzzle well, and I think it would be a headache to these mediocre defenses in the Premier League, in all honesty. But yeah, that's what I think. You can again continue to give me your opinion as we do continue to look at Manchester United and the news that is making. Now let's go back to the speculation around the ownership of the club. Now, the ownership of the club still remains, I think, the biggest agenda when it comes to Manchester United. But, guys, one thing I've learned is that you don't want this club to take you into a bad place in terms of your mental health. I've noticed in the past days that, honestly, depending on how you manage the whole takeover situation, I think your mental health can be at stake. So, for me, for where I am, I know and I'm convinced that Sheikh Jassim's bid impressed the Glazers, and sooner rather than later they're going to be making the announcement. Now, when they do that, it's up to them. At this point, we'll be here to wait for whenever they make the announcement. At least we have been, our emotions have been managed. Even with that, linking statement from Al Watan, I think at least now we know where it is headed. So for me, let's not dwell so much on it. Let us sort of wait as we move on. There is no more speculations they can tell us. There is no more twisting and turning they can do. We know the people we are dealing with. We just want them out, and it's a matter of time. They are going out. They are only trying to buy time to get more, to milk as much as they can from the club. Let them do that because, well, probably it's what they have done all season. And by the way, I thought today that maybe we need to give the Glazers a little bit of credit as they leave. It doesn't hurt to give them credit as they leave. That the Glazers have handled the finances in terms of making the club grow in terms of revenue. They have handled that quite well, to their credit. That is why they feel it's worth, of course, £6 billion now. They're overpricing it, obviously. But you credit them for what they have done in terms of increasing the revenue. The problem the world has with the Glazers is that there are these businessmen who only milk money from a business and do not invest back in the business, and they don't care about, for them, so long as the money is coming in, the sponsors are there. Of course, United will always have the biggest sponsors because it has the biggest support in the world. United will always have, that allure for sponsorships, without a doubt. They'll sell merchandise without a doubt. So the business will always come, but they have focused a lot more on the business, and they have forgotten to reinvest in the same business. You can't be milking money from something you don't reinvest in it. Suddenly, it shows you don't care about it, yet it's the one giving you the money. You can't milk £90 million in space of 5 years from a club, and you can't invest in upgrading the gym, the dressing rooms, upgrading the training facility. So it shows that you're one-sided. You're not balancing. It's like you're investing in a business, but you don't care about the employees, the business itself, the customers who are the fans of the club in this case. That's what it shows. So whereas the revenue of the club has grown from when they took over steadily, and to their credit, it doesn't matter, because now it looks like the growth is to their benefit. So it should be to the benefit of everyone. The fans don't want money from you. All they want is you invest it. At least try to invest in the team for it to be competitive and winning titles. The fans only want titles. So if the business end is working, you've got to balance the boat, and that's where the Glazers have fallen short. But we do believe, of course, that whoever comes in, and that should be Sheikh Jassim, when he comes in, we do believe we won't make the same mistakes that the Glazers made. We do strongly believe he will make the right choices, fronting the interest of the club first, not those of himself. And for me, I think that is what Manchester United need. But you see, when you are in a state like Manchester United is in, when all the other clubs are moving forward, far ahead of you, they are leaving you. At that point, you don't care, who is saving you. You don't care the savior. It's like you're drowning. When you're drowning, in a pool, you don't care whether it's it's your worst enemy who is saving, who is getting your hand to save you, or falling off a cliff. If you're falling from a cliff, you can you can hope your worst enemy will be the one to come and save you. You don't care if he's the one who brings the hand to save you. So for us, we don't care right now whether what the source of Sheikh Jassim's money is, or who he has been dealing with, what is his family, who are his relatives. We don't really care. For us, what we care is to see the club get in the hands of a fresh owner who comes with a promise that looks good for the club, for the progress of the club, in terms of addressing the things that are hurting the fans, who are important parts of the whole club. So that's, for me, the situation with the Glazers. And yes, you've grown the revenue of the club, but to whose benefit? To your benefit. So again, you can as well leave. Now you're trying to milk the club as much as you can, even in departure. Go on. That's who you've always been. You've always cared about money. So take the money and bounce. But you better do it, at least when you're leaving, do one right thing, and have the heart of the club. Show some heart for the club. You've been owner for over 2 decades, almost 2 decades. So show some love, because the more the Glazers drag in terms of making a decision, they are affecting the club in terms of transfer business, and again it will bite us for a longer time, even after they have left. So for me, that's where a big problem comes in. But the truth is, I think what we know is that sooner rather than later, they will be relinquishing ownership of the club. And of course, we'll be seeing Sheikh Jassim come through. The entire Qatar has been celebrating. A colleague of mine sent me a short video in Qatar showing me how certain, a few sections of Qatar, Man United fans in Qatar were celebrating. And I'm thinking, so it's a question of when, not if. I believe, like they say, there's never smoke without fire. So the rumors certainly do hold water. The speculations, whatever we've been telling you here, guys, I don't come here to say things I don't know about. It's not about coming here and wasting time. It's not about, the people in this business don't just come to waste anyone's time. The truth is, the Glazers were impressed by the bid from Sheikh Jassim, and sooner rather than later, they will be announcing, him as the new owner of the club. Well, maybe they are thinking of how they are going to make the announcement. I don't think it's an easy one for them because it was not exactly voluntary. It was sort of forced. So they are thinking probably of how best to present it. Anolin Aliguma says the Glazers have done more harm than good. Sure thing. Appointing bankers as the CEO. We have no any football knowledge, who has no any football knowledge and has dragged the club way behind. Without a doubt, she's talking about Ed Woodward when he came in after David Gill left. That was the former club chief CEO. After Sir Alex Ferguson's retiring, they bring in Ed Woodward, and Ed Woodward just grew the revenue in a short time. It grew from 48 million pounds to over 100, almost 120 million pounds. So in terms of money, United was doing good, but when it came to the football, there was no structure. This guy knew nothing. He was an economist. He knew nothing about football. So the football bit of the club was dying. So United were turning into sort of a galactical team, as if not even a galactical, because all the players they were pointing at were not working, were wrong. They were flops. So they were turning into a spender, a clueless spender. We had no particular direction we want to go. We had no strategic plan. All this guy was doing, we've made so much money, sign coaches based on their profile, bring in Jose Mourinho, bring in Louis van Gaal because of their profile, bring in David Moyes because he seems to be a calm, cool guy who players would like, all of the fans would relate with. So Ed Woodward had no proper idea. The easy thing could have been for him to come and set up a structure, either get a director of football or set up a structure that would see United headed to a certain direction in terms of the football they're playing, have a proper technical direction. But everything was different. You have a Jose Mourinho who packs a bus. You have a Louis van Gaal who loves to play with style and finesse. You have a Moyes who plays confusing football you can't even define probably. So you're thinking, what exactly is Ed Woodward up to? So the football was dying. They were signing all the wrong players, wasting money on compensating coaches. United lost close to 48 million pounds in compensation for coaches who left when they failed after Sir Alex Ferguson. So it shows you that these Glazers were killing the football. The stadium is leaking. How can the Old Trafford be leaking? How can the Suburb Charleston stand be leaking? I think we would be ashamed as an owner. But if you do love the club, you would know that these are legends of the club. There is a reason why the fans own the club. They can't be leaking when it rains. That's so not Man United. So Carrington, Cristiano Ronaldo gave a biting expose of the rot at Manchester United when he left, and of course, sections of fans were shouting and stuff. But I think today, United supporters should be looking back at Cristiano. I think the trending hashtag right now should be "Thank you, Cristiano," or that's the hashtag that should trend. After Sheikh Jassim takes over the club, because certainly for me, it shows you clearly that Ronaldo had the heart for the club. Right now, the most trending things on Twitter, Thomas Partey, Harry Kane, and the Qataris. But the trend for Harry Kane was talking about him choosing Manchester United. They were trying to convince him to choose Manchester United. But would he? But also, what would be the cost? I believe the two of them, Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe, would come at almost the same price. I believe at 100 million, I think you can get either. I think Daniel Levy, knowing him, he would want 100 million for Harry Kane. Then I think around the same amount of money. Not that they are worth the same, but the fact that Mbappe has got a short time left on his contract. If you're a good negotiator, sadly, I don't think United has got the best negotiators in town. But I think we could also be able to get Mbappe for close to 100 or at most 120 at most. So again, that would be for me a worthy bargain for Kylian Mbappe. So again, you think about it and you see, so who does United choose? Because they can't sign both. You can't spend 200 million pounds for to clear one position. So it's interesting. And of course, I see Opolot Sadiq saying, "Good evening, my brother. How are you doing?" Opolot, I am doing good. Thank you so much for coming through. I see there's so many people who are joining. Guys, keep coming on. Well, yes, we are here to talk about Manchester United and the transfers, and also talk about the players that United could be looking at in terms of the dilemma we have now, considering how imminent the announcement of Sheikh Jassim is. Now, of course, the transfer speculations have come and they are sounding different. It looks like United and Kylian Mbappe could be mates sooner rather than later, because Mbappe has apparently expressed that he would be open to playing in the Premier League at a top club. And of course, if you think about the clubs in the Premier League that have been interested in Kylian Mbappe at the top level, I think United is on ahead of those. Look at that. Look at Mbappe and how he would look putting on a Manchester United jersey. Would he be the man we need to sign? Give me your opinion. Drop in the comment section. Tell me if you were to choose, if Ten Hag is to choose between Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe, who should he go for? I showed you scenarios of how I think we would look, our front three would be with all. But to be honest, whoever of the two United signs, I believe our front three would be deadly. I strongly believe so. And I do believe the situation now is good, so good for Manchester United. But these are the striking options we have. Kylian Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain, he wants out of the club. Well, will he be given out as he wants it to happen? We will be getting to find out that sooner rather than later. But Man United have got to first clear the elephant in the room, chase the elephant away, attack and kill the elephant in the room. That is the ownership conundrum that we've been trapped in for 7 months, since during the World Cup, since November. Talk of Manchester United and selling. Bids have been flying left, right and center. 5 bids from Sheikh Jassim, and I think 2 bids from Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been the norm at United. The Glazers are enjoying, I think, the whole situation of having the power to make a decision, holding the world at ransom. But it probably has got to come to an end sooner rather than later. But that's the situation going on surrounding Manchester United and everything to do with the players and the transfer targets that we do have thus far. Again, more comments are coming through. Anolin Aliguma is saying, I think we could get Mbappe on a chip from PSG because Qatar and Al Khelaifi are the same. Certainly, certainly. In fact, the worry for most English fans would be, and this is against the UEFA rules, that somehow they think in a way, they think the Qataris, that is the father of Sheikh Jassim, who was the former chairman of the Qatar Sports Investments, that is the company that owns PSG, that owns QSI, they own PSG. So he was a former boss of PSG, but he left his role and of course handed over to Nasser Al Khelaifi. But certainly he was the top guy. So the feeling is that he actually owns PSG. So if he's the father of the same man trying to buy Manchester United, the feeling is that they are trying to dance around and, around the rules and own two clubs, which is not acceptable by UEFA. But for me, whichever way you look at it, I think that's a petty argument. I think Manchester United can be owned by Sheikh Jassim. We clearly know that the source of money is the Qatar, the royal family of Qatar. That is worth about 275 billion pounds. That's a lot of money. So certainly the money would come from the family. No individual in that family is worth is worth 6 billion pounds. But the whole family, the whole royal family of Qatar is worth 275 billion pounds. So what's wrong with the family coming together to support their child Sheikh Jassim as he buys the biggest football club in the world? So for me, I don't see a problem. I think it's just an issue of naysayers or worried non-Man United supporters, worried noisy neighbors, making noise about Sheikh Jassim and what would make Man United look like and how competitive and unplayable it would be. But what's the deal? What's wrong with that? Because football is about competition. You don't want Man City to be in the Premier League, but they're the only ones, competing with themselves probably. A small team comes up for a season like Arsenal did, they disappear, they are beaten at the death of the competition. I mean, I don't think that's what you want to see for football, not for the Premier League. It wouldn't be good for the Premier League. So the fact that oil money was allowed into the Premier League, from the Saudis to the Qataris, I think they should allow it all at once. It should be a fair ground. So let the best teams, or the teams with the best strategy, let them win. For me, I don't see an issue when it comes to that. So those fears for me do not hold water. Captain J says, bring Kane to United and see how tables will turn. Interesting. I think Captain J would prefer Harry Kane over Kylian Mbappe. I'll show you the scenario and how it would look when if Harry Kane joined Manchester United. Probably show you how it would look in a Manchester United jersey, and whether you think he would look smart in it. Would you buy Would you buy that kit with Harry Kane, the name on it? Probably would be given the number 9, maybe. Well, would you buy that? But I was also telling you about what the implications would be for me if Harry Kane came. I think we wouldn't need being a target man. I think Mason Greenwood would be a good, partner with him and Marcus Rashford when Greenwood returns. If not, even Anthony can come in and try and fit it. But of course, with Anthony, he would rely more on Rashford and Harry Kane. I don't think he would contribute so much unless he improves himself a lot. But Ten Hag has a lot of faith in him. So this is how Manchester United could look if we do get some of the core players we've been linked to. I believe when the Sheikh Jassim money comes in, I think the first players we are going to sign are those. Diogo Costa in goal, have Kim Minje from Napoli. These are the key signings for United. And then have a striker, either Harry Kane or Kylian Mbappe. If it were upon me, I would go for Mbappe, if it were upon me, without a doubt. But I wouldn't mind if they went for Harry Kane, because maybe for a reason Mbappe chose Real Madrid. So I think right now it is as if low-key Madrid having first refusal in terms of both players. I feel like right now it's as if like that. First refusal would be for Madrid. Whoever Real Madrid rejects, or whoever rejects Real Madrid, is the player United might be headed for. That's my feeling. Luyondo Mukonka saying, good evening. How is the issue of Man United takeover? Yes, Luyondo. The Man United takeover issue is still going on. Of course, like I said, it is a question of when, not if, they are going to announce the new owners. But what is clear, what we know, is that the Glazers were impressed by the bid from Sheikh Jassim. It was leaked earlier on today by the Al Watan newspaper that is owned by the father of Sheikh Jassim. It leaked news congratulating their son, in quotes, their son Sheikh Jassim, upon successfully getting ownership of Manchester United, pending confirmation from the club. Now, I think now they are trying to manage that. The news leaked, and I think it's backfiring. They're trying to manage it. That is not true and all, but the facts, I think we know in life there is never smoke without fire. The truth is, I think it's a question of when, not if, the Glazers will come out and announce Sheikh Jassim as the new owner of Manchester United. But him coming through would have implications, huge implications on the transfer window of the club, and that's what we are looking at, because Kylian Mbappe having come out yesterday in what we broke here and confirmed that he's going to be leaving PSG, certainly means that now United, if you have the Sheikh Jassim money and Mbappe says he's leaving PSG, Harry Kane is available to be bought, certainly now United would have a dilemma on who to choose. Now that's where I come to you and I'm saying, in the event that Eric Ten Hag is watching this, give him some advice. Who of the two strikers or forwards would you think Manchester United should go for, and why? Give your comments, drop in the comment section. And guys, I do remind you that it's important that you subscribe, because then you will be getting these timely updates and videos. I'm always here giving you updates and breaking news, but also uploading a couple of videos. But United has been linked to a couple of forwards, and those are some of them: Kylian Mbappe and Højlund. If Mbappe came in with Højlund, you think that would be and Marcus Rashford up front, you think that would be a deadly trio. That's a possible front three for Manchester United next season, if everything goes as to that plan, one of the many plans that Erik ten Hag has. Is the man in the center, that is Højlund, is a finisher, and of course Mbappe is everything. Marcus Rashford can also try to be everything, but not at the level of Mbappe. So you can imagine how interesting the attack for Man United would be if that happened. If United still signed Mbappe and they don't sign Højlund, I think this could be an option of a front three. Have Mason Greenwood probably playing in the center of the two, or going on one side. But you can have them playing, in mobile roles. The mobility, they keep switching from wing to wing and center. So you confuse defenses the way Firmino, Mane, and Mo Salah used to do at their prime as playing for Liverpool. So I think for me that would be a good front three for Manchester United if or when they do get that money from Sheikh Jassim. But like I said, your opinion counts, and I do want to get it. Let me continue because the comments are still coming through. I am seeing Tino Ellis. He's saying Mason Mount should stay at Chelsea. Interesting. I'm not so excited about Mason Mount rather. Mason Mount. I'm not so excited about him, to be honest. I don't think we should be spending 70 million pounds. Not even the 50 United is pricing him at, is rating him at. I don't think we need to spend that money on Mason Mount. I don't think even when we get the Sheikh Jassim money, I think it would be sort of wastage spending 50 million pounds on Mount. We can wait a little bit for Mount. For Mount, we can wait for him to see out his contract at Chelsea and get him on a free if we want him. But I don't think he's a priority for us to spend 50 million on. But somehow he seems to be deep in the plans of Erik ten Hag, and we are waiting to see. But Chelsea are also clinging on to him. They are holding out for a better deal. So it's interesting stuff. But for me, when you get the Sheikh Jassim money, let's sort the forward position, goalkeeping, and the central defense. For me, those are the ones we'll start with. Even if we only sorted those in the summer, I think the midfielders we have, keep Fred around, and with Casemiro there, and Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen, I think those midfielders are good enough to open up defenses and set up for the forwards. So for me, I don't think Mount should be a priority for United. But if we signed him not for 70 million pounds, again, I wouldn't spend sleepless nights over that. I would understand, but for me, he shouldn't be a priority. But again, I do want to pick your opinion. Tino Eli says Mount should stay at Chelsea. I agree, at least for now, he should be staying at Chelsea. Who else? Anolin Aliguma says, Web, I think when Qatar buys United, they could sell PSG to focus on the biggest club in the world. That's interesting. In any case, the PSG project is not working, is it? They have failed to win the Champions League. But that would be an interesting scenario if they did, and focus on the Premier League, because I think in terms of the Qatar sports and whatever strategy they have had to invest and take over global sport, getting Manchester United would be the biggest win for them. Even if it meant them selling PSG, I think actually it would make sense they would. I think that this would be the best acquisition for them. It would make the whole QSI investment thing make sense. Their plan, remember, is the money they get from Qatar QSI, Qatar Sports Investments, with the different entities they have, Braga, the Bein Sport, these clubs they have, PSG, and then Manchester United. The money they make from those entities is invested in the sports and leisure industries of Qatar. That's where they take the money. So it's a huge project, and it would fetch a lot of money for them. So getting Man United would be good. I'm not sure they would want to sell. Maybe they would sell because of the rules, and maybe if UEFA insists that because the dad of Sheikh Jassim was somehow involved in PSG, then they can't sell to the son and stuff. If UEFA wanted to play that card, maybe they would be pushed to sell PSG. But then that would take us back to square one, because then they would first have to sell before again they come back and bid. But then that doesn't happen overnight. You don't sell overnight. But I don't even want to go into that detail, that scenario. I think the way it is, Manchester United can be owned by Sheikh Jassim if the FA does want it to happen. But for now, it looks dependent on the Glazers. So let's wait and see what exactly happens. Anolin Aligoma says Mbappe's coming will definitely bury the Greenwood saga. Sure thing. Bury the Greenwood saga. I like that. Then she's saying Anolin Aligoma, Danny Levy is glazonomic. The Kane deal will drag on till August. Levy is a difficult man to deal with. Yes, he is. I remember how he overpriced Gareth Bale, selling him to Real Madrid. But also, Levy loves to deal with clubs outside England. He loves to sell players to Real Madrid especially, and clubs outside England. We remember with Luka Modric and all. So, that's why I think with Kane, right now with Mbappe coming into the picture, I think Florentino Perez will have to choose between Kane and Mbappe. He can't have both. Whoever he takes, United should quickly go for the one who stays. So for me, that should be the case. But the first priority for United should be Kylian Mbappe. We should have the confidence, knowing we're a big club, we should have the confidence to go on and bid for Kylian Mbappe. Whether Madrid wants him or not, we should present to him a better project. Because our project is looking good. I think Madrid is going to a restart, sort of. But of course, theirs doesn't or never takes so long anyway. they will always win the La Liga, I think, compete with Barcelona, and they will win. When it comes to the Champions League, they are the kings of the Champions League. So I think we can try and be boldly go toe to toe with them. But let me know again, guys. Continue with your comments as we do continue to dissect the situation concerning Manchester United. United, like I keep saying, has been linked with a lot of players, but it's very, very interesting what is happening now, because if the Glazers sell the club to Sheikh Jassim, certainly it is going to be a whole different ball game. We are going to go back for the first priority of players we had. For me, that is what I do think. But we have learned that Kylian Mbappe is interested in the move to the Premier League. So Manchester United should be quick to come out and table something. But there are also now more rumors coming through of how Klopp, this is the teamtalk.com reporting that that Klopp is desperate to beat Man United to Ajax star. I think these are minor speculations going on. The biggest one concerning Man United should be Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. He is. I think about there is reports now. This is the Sun reporting that Kylian Mbappe transfer interest has been declared and Kim Min-jae confirmed, and as of course Sheikh Jassim is about to be announced. So the energy and belief around the United faithful is higher following the breaking news that came through, of course, from Qatar, from Al Watan. That's the newspaper owned by Sheikh Jassim's father. So it's interesting to see how events are going to happen. But guys, thank you so much for those dropping the comments. I can see them coming through. I do appreciate each and every one of them. I think I've tried to give a response to all the comments that have come through. Keep them coming, guys, as we do continue to follow the situation concerning Manchester United. But again, I think I have about 5 minutes to wrap this up. As we do wait for the next update, I will be giving it to you. I will also be dropping, I think you check in one of my next videos, I'll be telling you, trying to give you a comparison, because I think the next conversation is when Sheikh Jassim is confirmed, will be about how competitive will he make United, against the other teams that are oil rich. So I'll be giving you a proper comparison of Sheikh Jassim against the other rich owners in England. So that will be an interesting one. It will be coming through in one of my next videos that I will post. It won't be a live, that one, but you will be catching that video. So subscribe if you haven't, but also go ahead and turn on your notifications so that we get the updates as they come. This is Foot Shots saying that hopefully Mbappe will join and the Glazers sell. That's what I hope for as well. I think Mbappe would solve half of the problems for Manchester United. He's a special player. He's young and he's ripe. He's in the right mood. He wants a new challenge. So for me, I believe, I totally agree with you. Of course, Foot Shots, thank you for joining as well, for coming through. And of course, all the other people that are coming through from wherever you are. I see we've got a lot of people who come through and watch from Kampala in Uganda. People come through from Lagos, Nigeria. People from the United Kingdom, from London. People from, I saw some people from Manchester. We've got people from Sierra Leone. We've got people from Free State. We've got people from Mauritius. We've got a lot of people watching us from South Africa. We've got so many people from all over the world tuned in to the hotspot, subscribed, and of course getting all the updates as they do come. We do appreciate you. I do say keep sharing, because this is the channel where you get to talk exclusively about Manchester United and issues that concern them. Right now we are on top of the takeover conversation, you do want to again turn on your notification, because every day, both in my video and in the YouTube shorts, I do give you an update concerning the takeover of Manchester United, where it is, what's the state. When there is a breaking news at any time, I give it to you. This morning it caught me rushing for a meeting, but I had to pause and give it to you. So subscribe to the channel, because it's all about the love. It's for the love of Manchester United, the Red Devils, or the soon to be Red Althani Devils. How would that name sound on Manchester United? Let me know what you think, as I do continue, of course, to give you updates as they do continue to come in. Well, guys, I think I've addressed most of the questions I think that have been posed, but also your opinions. I think I've spoken to most of them. The debate today has been about these two players. Who of the two should Man United sign? Is it Kylian Mbappe, or should we sign Harry Kane? Because with the Sheikh Jassim money coming through, we certainly can't afford any of the two in this window, and we need a forward, and they are two of the best in the world. What do you think is going to happen? Give me your 2 cents about that in the comments. Share on this video, and thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. Let's do it again. Of course, every day we are here live at 10 p.m. but it's not the only time we go live. We can go live at any time when there is a major update. So that's why I say it's important you turn on your notification, so that when we are coming on, you're one of the first people to know, or when we post a video, you're among the first to know, because I keep following issues for you and keeping you updated in real time. Be ahead of the rest with the hotspot. My name is Webb. It's a big G bless. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night if you're going to retire right now. Bye bye.